The City of Witches, Episode 23. Cait in Love, Chapter 5. The room was filled with the atmosphere of anticipation. Ursula was curious about Angelo's problem, and Angelo needed help. "You know what Mr. Ovid recently told me to do?" said Angelo. "If I recall correctly," Ursula said, "there is a Cait you need to convince to break up with her boyfriend because the lord of her clan wants to stay in power." "Exactly," said Angelo. "And I think I'm slowly running out of options." "Do you have any ideas you have not tried yet?" asked Ursula. "Not really," said Angelo. He then told Ursula exactly why he came to her home. "I asked Lord Alfred for any suggestions, but I don't like what he told me. That's why I came to you. I need an opinion on something." "And what did he tell you to do?" asked Ursula. Angelo took a deep breath. He would prefer not to have to say it. "Brute force," said Angelo. "Or something around that idea. Generally, force." Ursula thought about how to answer Angelo. Just then the door opened and Ursula's mum went in. She was holding a tray with a teapot and 2 mugs. "The tea is ready," she said. "Are you discussing any secretive things?" Ursula looked at Angelo. "You should answer that," she said. "Yes, kinda," said Angelo. "Okay, then I'll leave you alone," said Miss Dickens. "Just don't get into trouble." As the door closed, Ursula looked at the mugs Miss Dickens brought. "You want the one from Hellsong?" she asked Angelo. "Take it." "All right, thank you." Ursula took the mug with the characters from Hellsong and poured herself tea. She then took the other mug, one with the characters from Angels of Fall, and poured tea for Angelo. "Enough," said Angelo when his mug was half full. "I won't stay that long anyway." Ursula placed his mug on the tray and blew at hers. Angelo took a big sip and immediately spitted it out. "Damn, it's hot!" Angelo voiced the pain on his tongue. "It is hot indeed," said Ursula. "You should blow on it a bit." "No kidding, thanks," said Angelo sarcastically. Ursula was staring into her tea, blowing at it, sipping it, twirling the mug. She was trying to come up with advice she could give her friend. She had to consider everything. Ursula understood that on one hand, Angelo did not want to destroy a romance just because some Lord Kitty told him to. But on the other hand, she had to do it if he ever wanted to see his family again. Soon, Ursula took one last sip, put the mug back on the tray, and looked at Angelo. She thought she came up with the best advice she could. "You likely will not like my answer," said Ursula, "but I honestly cannot come up with anything better." "Oh yeah? Let's hear it out," said Angelo. "Well, I think you should simply do what you feel like doing more." Ursula knew it wasn't the perfect advice, but what else could she tell him? "Huh, you weren't kidding when you said I likely won't like it," said Angelo. "I am sorry, I simply cannot think of the perfect solution," said Ursula. Angelo rose from the bed and sighed. "I guess there is no perfect solution," said Angelo. "I guess I just have to put my shit together and do anything." Hearing Angelo, Ursula felt almost as if she was about to puke. "Was that a word twister, or did you mean it literally?" Ursula hated twisted words, but this time she hoped Angelo used them. "Oh, sorry, maybe I shouldn't have used that word twister," said Angelo. "Anyway, I'll get going now." "Alright, let me know what you decide," said Ursula as Angelo was putting on his jacket. Angelo was not satisfied with his visit at Ursula's. He came to get advice on what he should do about that Cait daughter, and he left with no question answered. And he would need to make the decision soon. For a moment, Angelo thought about trying to talk to Giovanna one more time, but ultimately he decided against it. Not that day. He wanted her to get used to her parents in her home. He thought he would see her the next day if he still didn't know what to do. For now, Angelo decided to visit Sarah. He did not know her as much as Giovanna or Ursula, but maybe she could give her some tips. It was always worth trying. Giovanna's family had gathered in the living room and was eating supper and watching TV. It was Giovanna who made the supper. He made pizzoccheri bianchi to flex the cooking skills she developed living alone. Wow, I had to admit that your cooking became significantly better, Giancarlo, said Miss Alighieri. Thank you, I've been practicing, said Giovanna. Mr. Alighieri was watching his favorite game show, Who Wants to Challenge a Millionaire? A show led by a famous entrepreneur, Ivan Husk, where the players were tasked with answering a series of increasingly difficult questions to win a fraction of his fortune. As of the moment, millions of viewers were watching a young adult woman from Swindon getting ready for the £100,000 question. This question will be about the history of music, Wendy. I've heard it's your minor in college, said Ivan Husk. Yes, it is, said the player, though I have to admit I struggle a bit. Well, have you gone through the 20th century yet? Said Husk. The music from that time is still popular, maybe you struggle a bit less. The audience in the studio laughed. Let's play for £100,000, said Husk. The lights in the studio got dimmer, and on the screen appeared the question, which Husk read. In 1998, the North Vision Song Contest was won by a singer called Tara Superstar, who represented which country? Was it A, Georgia, B, Canada, C, Israel, or D, Moldova? While Wendy was seriously debating over whether or not she should use a power-up to eliminate some answers, Giovanna knew what the correct answer was immediately. She was Israeli, Giovanna said to her dad. Mr. Alighieri looked at his daughter with wonder. That's a difficult question, are you sure, son? He asked her. Yeah, I once read about her, Giovanna said. I found her story really interesting. After a lot of thinking and wasting a power-up, Wendy locked her answer in as A. Even Husk received data from the producers. No, that's the wrong answer. The correct answer is C, Husk said, as the lighting in the studio turned red. She's known as the third Israeli and the first transgender person to ever win the contest. Well, something tells me someone will find this interesting.